Yo, we're finally back.
We're back again for another episode of
Beach Cat Cinema Corner.
All right. Well, without further ado, our movie review for today is
Sir.
Godzilla -1.
That sounds like almost like the Godzilla Destroy All Monsters when they're like, monsters fight.
Yeah,
that sounds just like that.
If any of you guys ever played that game, yeah, bringing back an old school nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so yeah, we are going to be discussing about Godzilla -1 in the new review. Oh my god!
I know.
Oh my gosh! Welcome back.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I can say what I'll say. What a phenomenal movie this was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was out in the States for a while. Unfortunately, Gary and I, we're trying to watch it, see it in the theaters, and due to work conflict, I know we weren't able to go to catch it in time, see in the theaters. So, and then they had this thing about possibly putting it out on sometime in spring and whatnot, but then I think they had some kind of conflict going on with there. And
right.
Then, so, because we kept saying, it's like, man, when this is coming out? When is it coming out? When do you get to see it again? When do you get to see it again? You know, right? And then, sure enough, man, once I, what was it? It wasn't until last week I was just flipping through Netflix.
Right.
And sure enough, I saw it. There it was, like, ooh, click, right there. Watched it. Loved it.
Yeah.
And once again, to all the Toho Studios, congratulations on your win on your visual effects.
They were just
awesome.
Man, the visual effects, even just talk about that, they were just so interesting because they had almost this like toy, like claymation 3D 4D look to just sometimes even the waves in the water, everything just had its own like it's just its own aspect of look. Like I've just never seen something look like that in a movie before.
Absolutely. I mean, they made every detail. It's just so realistic, you know, and it's just like what Gary was saying, especially like all the fish that was dying out, and because they kept it real. They kept it. I mean, Godzilla is a radioactive monster, right? So when he's around, any other living things are going to die.
Yeah.
You know, see things basically.
And I'm definitely glad that they were able to portray that with the fish. I definitely wish they kind of started portraying that with the people on the boat or the planes flying around. And what would be really cool is if, I'm assuming they're probably going to make a second, is if even in the second movie that people are starting to pop up with cancer, because again, they're all like relatively close to this, physically to this monster. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Because especially when the scene when he made that atomic blast, like all his back started coming up fully.
Yeah.
And they just...
We have to put that clip in here.
Oh, it's going in there. Oh, that's going in there. And it's just
yeah, makes
this whole big, like this whole atomic explosion. You know?
Yeah, and then just even the mushroom cloud, man.
Right.
Yeah. And
then hopefully a lot of y'all have seen it. If you get a chance to see it, by all means, please go check it out. I know we're trying to spoil so much, but we are movie reviewers on it. But wow, I mean, especially the scene when due to that atomic blast, that all that blast came through and then
and it pulled and it retracted back. Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, it was even crazy to just see Godzilla looking up at it, like he was just like, "Damn," you know. And he's like, "Yeah."
He's looking up his sky like, "Huh, I did that."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, that was just a beautiful shot too. It was just wow. I think that this movie really showed the impact of the nuclear and radioactive energy to the most extent of this monster, because we've seen different stories where with Godzilla or Zilla from 97 or 99.
Which one with Matthew Broderick?
The Nicholas Antopoulos, yeah.
Oh yeah, Matthew Broderick. And
that one where they talked about it being like a lizard who was eating radioactive energy, but this Godzilla to me, I mean, yes, obviously that's the story of it, but this Godzilla to me seemed to be projecting the most radioactive importance to. It was just like you could just see the radioactiveness. I can't even talk anymore. You get what I'm trying to say, though.
I totally get what you're saying. I mean, yeah, it's just that how. I mean, especially in the beginning, and because he was small, but I mean, he was just starting to grow. So the more somebody attacks him like with missiles and rockets and stuff like that, and explosion, the more massive he gets.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably haven't. Well, those who haven't seen, those who have seen -1,
Right.
We can pretty much tell you that we haven't seen him in his full state yet.
Yeah, because the whole thing is too is I mean even look at Godzilla Earth size. I mean I think Godzilla normally stands around what is it about 115, 130 meters, and I think
like
Godzilla Earth is about 300 meters tall.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean I think that Godzilla has the potential to just grow until the end of time. You know,
Yeah.
I mean especially since he's been alive technically since the dinosaur age,
Right.
as some stories say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people also were asking like, "Well, is there a way to destroy? Could Godzilla be destroyed?" I don't know.
So I believe yes and no. I think that you have to again destroy Godzilla internally. I think that during the time of was that World War II that the movie was taking place, because that was Pearl Harbor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was around 1945
Yeah.
in the movie, and then 47, and right in the late after World War II.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't during World. It was after World War II, and then
Yeah, I think that they didn't have the missile power strong enough. Like you saw when they hit him in the mouth and it blew everything up and it regenerated. But the thing is that Godzilla, and if they're following the original storyline, Godzilla has two hearts. Generally, when you have like with kaiju, like if you guys ever saw Pacific Rim, where some of them were so big, I think that they had to have like two hearts, where they had like two brain control sensors or something like that, because you almost have to have something relay information down to the other side of the body to continue to move it. And I think that there was a movie or something, or it might have been a couple movies where Godzilla was killed, and then the reason he was able to regenerate was because of his second heart, which I think is in his leg. And it's interesting too because they talk about in medical history for humans, they talk about, I think it's like the calf muscle has like the second heart in it, because I think there's like a giant artery or something there. So it's kind of interesting how they do that.
yeah. Huh. See, I didn't think about that, but then that does actually make sense, because especially those when you work out and your calves just throbs, it's just like it pulsates. So
Yeah.
I can see the possibility of that.
Yeah, I also love the fact that they were able to keep the dark tone to it. I mean, and this is sometimes I feel like with foreign movies they just have their own direction of certain things. And there was a director I had met a long time ago, and he had mentioned something about not a long time ago, a couple of years ago, but he had told me something about in American cinema they like to give everything out, and in foreign cinema they like to have you continue to look for that information. And I do think that there's a difference sometimes with American cinemas, that sometimes I feel like there's a need to brighten the storylines up. Obviously we've seen it with Thor's storylines, or just certain not Marvel movies, just movies in general.
Right.
But even the storyline now, where we had Legendary Godzilla, which I think was 2014, we had Kong Skull Island, and then I think that we had the new one 2019 with King Ghidorah in it.
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, well, no, not that one yet. With the Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, so I'm still on the two legendary
King of
films.
Monsters.
Yeah,
King
of the Monsters. Yeah,
King of Monsters.
And then all of a sudden with the whole Godzilla versus Kong one, it goes into this. I mean, to me, it almost gives me the Super Smash Bros. Melee game of like, oh, like we're bros, like screw the storyline, let's just fight.
Yeah,
and
we'll definitely go in discussions. We're gonna watch the King Kong and Godzilla, that latest one that came out, and
because we still have to see it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I feel like is that a lot of people have always complained, like, oh, I hate the human storyline. We were talking about this in the trailer and stuff a long time ago, is that even in the original Godzilla, the Toho story, it's about the monster, but it's about people in Japan right now who are trying to survive life and hardships, and then you have a monster now that comes that's got radioactive energy. So okay, how do we deal with this problem? Right. So it's always been about humans trying to survive it, and I don't know why people don't get that. Yes, do we want to see the monsters fight all the time? But at that point, I feel like you end up with situations like Godzilla vs. Kong. It's just this giant melee, and it's lacking anything of depth and value of interest. The characters, even in the first one, Godzilla and Kong, Godzilla vs. Kong, they all have these like hot one-liners. Like they just have these like punch, like they have these big blockbuster one-liners. There's like no conversation. There's no story being told. And I feel like that's lost because everything's just about like, oh well, let's just make it brighter, flashier, more monster fights. And it's just everything to me now is like the storyline of what if I was 6 years old, this is how I would tell a story.
Right.
And I've just been a preference of, I've always loved Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla's been out for like 70 years, and I don't like the direction that's going in. So it was nice to see -1 stick to that true dark tone of Godzilla.
I agree, because that's Japan's. This is just their baby, This is the story that they came up with Godzilla being the kaiju.
Right.
Right? And then, I mean, for us, I mean, us being like Americans, when we filmed our version of it, which was, I mean, I would say it was okay. It's okay, but I don't think it really was acceptable in Japan because I think that, to me, I think they probably thought that you guys are taking this thing a whole different way. Even though, everybody has their own differences on what things should, our characters, how they should be. I mean, whether that's it's Godzilla or someone Star Wars or Marvel and DC, such as that, right? But it's just like Gary was just saying. I mean, it's just because I know the movies they pretty much were either between Warner Brothers and
Legendary.
I think the one in '97 was in. Oh man, I can't think of the production company on that. I think it wasn't Warner Brothers though. But what I'm trying to say is, those guys, it's just that, it's just they, like I said, they tend to sway on to cater to their side, but I lost my train of thought.
No, I mean it's just that there's just so much history to follow. Like, why create this scar and this baby monkey that looks like he's going to start speaking English? Like, why create that now? Like, why make the Hollow Earth upside down and everything when there's just so much? There's 70 years of history to go off of, and of course there's a creative direction everyone can take on their own. But it's like, why just? I just sometimes I would just love to just sit in the meetings and just be like, what's the directional word? It's just like, hey, let's just do whatever we want. Let's turn Godzilla pink and green and orange and yellow and I don't know, man. I just draw curiosity a lot.
Yeah, I guess basically saying, like, you can't alter what's already been beautiful already. You know what I mean? You make Godzilla the way he is,
and I love the design on him from the Legendary one. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like the concept of where they exploded King Kong size to match Godzilla size, and they had to shrink Godzilla down a bit for them to be the same scale. And it's like, guys, Kong has never matched Godzilla in anything, and this is just another thing that it just frustrates me because you've got Godzilla has fought Destroyer, Rodan. You've had Fire Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mecha King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla, Megalon. I don't know if I said Gigan, Space Godzilla, Biollante, Destroyer, Orga. Like, besides Mothra helping him out from time to time, or whoever came in from time to time to help him, Godzilla has generally fought almost all these monsters by himself. So just to par him on scale with Kong, and then give Kong a mecha fist and an axe that's radioactive loaded, it's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And even if we compare the Legendary Godzilla to the Legendary Kong is a child still. Yeah. And Legendary Godzilla has already fought two Moitos and King Ghidorah under his belt. So how are they almost fighting on par with each other? And these are just things where it's almost like, let's just get these two friends together, scale them to equal, and just throw them out in the world and just see what happens, And I don't know, man. I'm just really biased on it, guys. I really am.
You can tell how much he really loves Godzilla, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, he makes a very reasonable point, on it. Just that sometimes some things it's not worth changing. So but I mean, like I said, I'm not hating the other Godzilla and King Kong and all that stuff. I mean, it's different in itself, unique. But I mean, it's just that, I mean, and if you guys liked it, I mean, hey, that's great. It was enjoyable. I mean, as I say, they did put butts into the seats,
right?
For the movie. I mean, and also it's just like it's the glow, like how they, like Gary was just mentioning, like how they trying to put them together, or how this and that. So, but
what would you score it?
My score for Godzilla -1 will have to be 9.5.
Yeah.
9.5.
Yeah, I'm drawing struggle between a 9 and a 10. And guys, the only movie that I've ever given a 10 was Rebel Moon 1, and you guys can also see that even Rebel Moon 2 I gave a lower score, so it's not just like, oh my god, that's so cool, that movie's a 10.
Yeah.
The way that I like to look for things in movies is that I look at it like, is there anything I would change to what they've already done? Like, whether I would create more relationships or story, or you know, and this Godzilla had a story about a man and a woman's love, a child, and then Godzilla was like the exterior part of the storyline, right? It was about the relationships and human condition, as my acting coach says.
Yeah, exactly. Because if any of you ever watched in The Walking Dead, right? All these other seasons. I mean, it's basically there's zombies walking around, eating brains and flesh and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But if you really look at it in a way, it's really about survival. Yeah. Who do you trust?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and that's the storyline. I with Garrett. I said I agree. I enjoyed that myself, and that's what I agree with. What -1 was. It had a very great story.
And that's one of the things that I learned, even growing up, where I'm always like, "Wow, I just wish the monsters would fight more." And as I grew up and started hearing things and listening more, people generally like to watch things that they can relate to. Like, we don't relate to Godzilla. We relate to the storyline. Godzilla is just a really cool aspect of it. Yeah. And when you're looking at drawing the attention of an audience, in my opinion, I think this is why people relate to -1, which is why -1 did so much in numbers and popularity compared to Godzilla vs. Kong, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it there.
I know we can go on and on. I mean, but guys, once again, I really encourage you guys to go check out Godzilla -1. It's on Netflix. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I strongly encourage you to check it out when you can before it probably goes away. Right. But I definitely would probably purchase it if it goes on Blu-ray, DVD. Just
you just gotta have that.
Just to have that around, you know,
and keep it unopened.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm totally keeping it unopened. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
Especially if they have like a limited edition that comes with an action, figure or something. Yeah.
Oh, here's another thing too. Speaking of the movie, which topic is all about, but I happened to watch it twice. Once. It was dubbed.
He failed on this.
And the second one, I did watch it in the original language.
Yes.
Me personally, I'm just saying, me personally, I would rather see it in Japanese.
That's a fact, guys. That's not an opinion.
That family's not an opinion. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. I mean, it just flows a lot better when you hear it in the native language, and then you have a subtitle. You just got to read fast.
Yeah. But I mean, you just get the original expression of the actors that were there on set.
Precisely. Yeah. Again, not to take anything away from the voice actors that are dubbing. I mean, it's a job. It's just something they getting paid for. Which probably, I don't know how much, but I mean, but it's a job nonetheless. And kudos to those who dub. But again, I just like to hear it in the native language. So that's me. Yeah. All right. Well, you got anything else? That's it. That's it. Yeah. We are out of gas of oh my God. Guys, thank you for watching. And if you get a chance, please hit the notification bell, hit the comment below. Let us know what you think about it when you saw it, how much you liked it, how much I don't know if you didn't like it. Yeah. We would like to hear your opinions. And please, if you get a chance, also please subscribe. Those who thank you all for those who have been subscribing with us. Appreciate it, much appreciated. So until then, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.
Yep. See you soon.
Take care, guys.